Good morning, Sunday morning, super happy Sunday, and we have a special guest, Kalpana, who's joining in today. And there's something different about Kalpana. She is driving something called Women's Circle, and more important than the name of the Women's Circle or what it does, she is basically preaching dance movement therapy. Dance movement therapy is something which I've learned myself, and this is for not only for women. I think this applies to men also, but one of the reason Kalpana feels that dance movement therapy is very important is because there are a lot of women out there who think a lot about others. Their parents, their husband, their kids. Then about the house, how they house has to be spick and spine so that the guests feel it very warm when they come, but they really don't take that me time for themselves, and some moments, that me time where they can actually do some moments. This is not exactly about dance, but some moments which will make a lot of difference. So how this therapy is helpful, that let us have our new friend Kalpana talk about it. But very nice to have you, Kalpana, over here. And I think this is a right topic to talk about on a Sunday morning, because Sunday common perception, like people like me are like, relax, आज chill करेंगे, आज ठहरेंगे. We become like a couch potato, so do nothing. But I think we are talking something interesting today. I have no idea detailed about this particular therapy, but sounds very interesting. I mean, this have my interest today. So Kalpana is got almost 25 years of corporate experience, especially into HR. She's been dealing with people, and this passion is more involved in people, because the reason she is doing it, because this will help a lot of people, and that's the reason she's trying to preach and get this to a larger audience. So nice of you, Kalpana. Thanks for joining in. Maybe you can tell our friends how you started this, what are the current projects, and how you're so involved in this. Over to you, Kalpana. I think your video froze. Okay, let's connect with her once again. Just in the meanwhile, what do you guys know about dance movement therapy? Maybe you can actually check out and maybe comment here. Welcome back, guys. We have Kalpana back again. So, Kalpana ji, maybe you can talk about how you started this journey. What brought in interest of choosing this as your passion. So maybe you can take it forward from here and talk about you and your passion.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Thank you, WurkTV, for having me on this show. Thank you so much. So, dance movement therapy, this is something that I got into it only about 2 years back. I did a program with CIMTAI, which is Creative Movement Therapy Association of India. And this is more related to psychology. So let me go back a little where I tell you a little about my life and how I got into this. So I got into human resources about almost 25 years back, and I started my career more as a training professional, in fact, and over there, and soon after that, I got into HR uh, departments and so on. And I worked with people so much over the years that I think it's become second nature to sit and think, and how does a person think, what makes them think, are they happy, are they not happy, how can we make things better around for them, and so on. And also certain things which happened in my own life. I think every human being goes through a lot of travails, and you're supposed to learn from whatever happens in your life. And so this interest in people and what happens in their minds and so on got me onto psychology. I went on to do my master's and my PhD in psychology, and I have also been very interested in the mental health arena, and I voluntarily got into working with people in hospitals, particularly in-house patients and so on. And it's been a tremendous experience in the sense that using psychotherapy or traditional psychological methods and talking to people, counseling, and so on, I found that it does help, obviously, but I still felt that something was lacking. That's when I came across dance movement therapy, and out of curiosity, I really didn't know much about it. But once I started doing the course, I felt a tremendous shift in myself, in fact, and it has a very strong impact. So let me tell you a little about dance movement. The emphasis is more on the movement. I face this challenge every time. I try to do a workshop or so on, and I tell people it's about dance movement. Everybody says, "Oh, dance," but I can't dance. And they shy away. They literally run away. It takes a lot to convince people, and I think basically a lot of us are very shy and quite inhibited about moving our bodies and the way we look, feel, maybe the thought of showcasing any kind of movement in front of everybody, somebody else is watching. I think all that goes on in people's minds. So I tell them it's more of a creative movement. So I try to play down the dance part of it. Then the next question is, oh, but how are you going to do the session? How are you going to tell me what movements to do? So, no, I don't tell you anything. You will move as you feel like within your own space, within your own, whatever your mind and your body wants to make you do. And believe me, over time, the body opens up so much. I think it's the mind which is opening up, of course, but the body also starts opening up because over the 2 years which I have been doing it myself, like recently, I started, dancing to some music which somebody was. I was in a meditative session with somebody, meditation session, and this lady started playing the drums, and I said, "Oh, this is wonderful!" And I got up and started moving around, and I realized that there has been a tremendous change in the movement that I am doing now compared to when I first started my dance movement course or my dance movement journey per se. So yes, a lot happens when you start working on yourself, working on your body, your mind. So I am also a yoga practitioner and a certified yoga teacher. So I've been practicing yoga very consciously for the past 5 years. So whether it is yoga or exercise or creative dance movement or any of these things, the basic idea is that you bring about stability or oneness or a unity within yourself, and essentially it is the oneness of the body, mind, and the emotions. So I think that's what all of us strive for in this life. No, I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of us keep saying, "Hey, I want peace in life. I don't want this noise around me. I don't want the noise within my head, and so on." So this is one way of bringing about that stability, the calmness within, and so on. And movement is really something you can do it with music, you can do it without music. The first few programs which I did, in fact, was without music because I myself hadn't tuned into the music part of it myself. But um, Later, when I started picking up, nuances of what could I do and so on. So I did bring in music, and it's had a tremendous impact. And it's a beautiful feeling because as a practitioner, even choosing the music, because a lot of it is I have to improvise then and there while the session is going on, while the participants are moving, because I need to tap into what is going on at that moment. And while I do make a broad plan for the session and get into the session, but once it starts, you start seeing what the mood is. You need to sort of get into the swing of what the audience is and where they are at that moment, and then make those slight shifts and change from one stage to another stage. So one of my signature programs, I would call it, is uh, uh, movement and meditation. I was later asked to change it to moving meditation. So that is one of my programs. So in moving meditation, uh, you have a lot of very drum beats, but quite soulful drum beats, I would say,
Mm.
and a lot of flute playing, music, and that's what I chose. I remember. And over the course of the session, you actually see people sink down to the floor and really let go. Oh, and there are some people who are still standing and but they are extremely in that meditative mood. So movement and meditation, people can say, hey, how does that happen? Meditation means you just sit on the floor, you sit cross-legged, and you go into into a trance kind of thing. No, it's not that. Anything can be meditative. And my other program, which I'm very passionate about, and I'm really trying to promote, is called a women's circle. There are women's circles across the world. Many people have been doing women's circles. Uh, I am consciously doing it using dance movement therapy as the medium to get women to tap into their potential and realize themselves. So, like you were explaining earlier, I also feel that women tend to be very maybe selfless most of the time. You're always busy looking after other people. So I would like to, create forums where I tell women, hey, come forward, let's meet, let's sit together, let's dance together, let's move together. Let's even if you're just moving your little finger, it's enough. Believe me. So I would like women to come together and work on themselves, look within, see how much more you can do for yourself. So one of the programs which I've done, this was part of my internship with Simtai, where I was working with a group of geriatric women,
Mm.
um, and they were 70 plus, and they were all chair bound. They did have movement; they could walk around a little bit, but mostly with assistance. And so obviously I couldn't get them to stand around and go around. So what I did was every day, whenever the session would happen, that was once a week, we would sit in a circle in chairs. I would get them to move, start with moving their fingers, their hands, their elbows, the shoulders, the neck, the rest of the body. Even leaning forward, leaning back in the chair, even doing the side movement. It works on the spine. You're moving your legs. It's like you're playing with yourself. You hold hands. And this was a very spiritual group. So then they were all part of a religious group where they would pray to a particular guru so on. So they had that. I didn't realize that. I didn't know this aspect about it. But when as the sessions went progressing, there was a certain kind of positivity which these women had, which was amazing, and it had a tremendous impact on me also. I used to think such wonderful people, and these were women who were living in an old age home in a government run institution. They were mostly women abandoned by their children and families, but still the positivity which they brought to their lives, and to whoever, even when I would come to meet them sometimes, they would just welcome me with such love and joy. I think this is what I would like to promote among more and more women. And like you said, yes, the dance movement or creative movement is not only for women, right? It is for a lot of other people. And of course, I would love to do myriad groups and sessions. And I am associating with Creative Movement Therapy Association of India, where we will be either supporting or uh, being a catalyst in making more programs happen. So I'm hoping that through this program, I'm also able to get more people to understand what this is about and how it happens. And like I'm repeating again, it's more of only of the movement. And we do movement, even when we are sitting and talking and you move your hands and a lot of gesticulation and so on. That is movement.
Yeah,
So there's
anything,
nothing to
you
worry about.
stretch, you basically relax and do some of these things while we're doing meetings and all that. Like a lot of people are now stuck with laptops in front of them, working from
Yeah,
home, or doing some workshops. I think it's okay to stretch while you're in a workshop rather than freezing to the camera. So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's also one small step towards dance movement. Yeah, and
Yes,
until unless you're playing something and trying to do wavy stuff. But good, nice. Knowing about this. I mean, this is completely new. I mean, it's education for me. It's a learning for me, because this is something interesting, and we all need that, because there are a lot of times when we freeze. We completely put our posture to a freezing position while working, and while we're traveling. So this is really good. So Kalpana ji, we also have some questions for you. These are rapid fire questions. So I hope you are all set ready.
sure.
Okay. When you were younger, what would you want to do when you wanted to grow up? So, like, what was your passion that this
Oh,
this
I
would be
wanted
a.
to be a lawyer, and I did my law degree.
Oh wow! So you're a
Yeah.
psychologist and also a professional lawyer,
Yeah,
qualified lawyer.
I did work in the courts, Madras High Court, for about a year, and then I got into human resources, where you do a lot of documentation and so on. So all the legal study I did come into practice in some form.
Okay. Do you think that you would be happy living in the city or in the farm?
In the farm, surely.
In the farm. Okay. Do you attend, or do you pay attention to politics, or do you stay away from that?
Well, I would say pay attention, but I am quite aware of what is happening, and I more listen to people around me, because there are people who are into active politics, and you get a little bit of the inside views, and so I think that it helps me to understand certain things, nothing more than that.
Okay. Do you care about making money or pursuing happiness?
Well, both, because you need the money to make certain things happen. But at the same time, I have always believed that I can always sustain myself, and I have done it over the years. So I'm not really worried if something goes downhill. I pick myself up. So money helps, but at the same time, there are a lot of things which can be done, and there are many legal ways of earning money and keeping yourself happy. doing that.
Okay. Do you consider yourself religious or spiritual?
I'm absolutely spiritual, though I do follow a religious path because of various reasons, because that's how certain things are done, I guess. But what I understand is religion is the initial way which leads to being more spiritual.
Okay. So what's your best weekend for you? Like today is Sunday, so that's the reason we have this question. So what's a perfect Sunday or a weekend for you?
I think just doing your own thing and being absolutely relaxed, um, keeping things extremely simple, not doing anything much over the weekend, but at the same time, maybe being able to go out. If I was in a farm, I would definitely be sitting under a tree watching the birds. Bird watching is one of my favorite
Wow.
pastimes. It's my favorite hobby as well. And doing a lot of gardening and so on. I would be planting something or maybe digging up, mulching the plants and so on.
So when Kalpana is in bad mood, so do you prefer somebody coming and a person coming and cheering you up, or do you prefer to be left alone, or do you prefer that you do this dance move when some things like that happen?
I would prefer to be by myself
Hmm.
and work things out for myself. And over time, that is something I have been working on. So I am able to, get in and out of that kind of situation pretty fast. I think maximum now it'll take me a day to get through that. Minimum maybe a few hours.
Cool. Oh, how is and why is the quality of friends around you is important?
Um, uh, Honestly, I've always been an extreme introvert, and because of my work and so on, I have learned I'm more of an ambivert now.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think somewhere in my mind, I'm quite an introvert. Um, though I would love to do workshops and programs with people. So I know this may not be something which people want to hear, but I don't believe that you really need to have people around you. No offense to people, I love people. I still do a lot of things with people around. Of course, and you can't always be alone, but mostly I think I'm pretty self-sufficient, and I'm always there for people. But uh, I can live alone in a farm all by myself.
So Kalpana as a child, बचपन की कल्पना कैसे थी? You know, can you describe yourself and some weird, funny stuff you've done, which you look back, those memories, bringing those smile.
I, as a child, again, at home I would talk a lot, but otherwise I don't think I ever interacted much with people. I had this one or two very good friends, of course. In school, I remember I used to sit on the last bench, and even in kindergarten, I used to be the most talkative in school. But otherwise, I was not somebody who would mingle much with people. So I remember my teacher telling my parents that she's always talking in class, and they really couldn't understand that.
What is the most funniest moment or memorable moment from your childhood which brings in that smile?
I think in Mangalore, we lived in Mangalore for some time, and I loved the rains in Mangalore. I remember wearing the raincoat and walking down the road to go to school, and you had this lovely drainage system where all the water would flow into the drains, and it was nice. So those are my memories, and I still love the rain.
Mhm.
So my happiest and I won't say there's anything funny about it, but I think my most joyful moment is being in the rain, being watching the rain.
Wow, nice, nice knowing you, Kalpana. it's an honor having you here. So with all this experience, you've been working in HR for a long time. You have a degree in law. You're also a psychologist. You know people, how people behave and all that. With all this experience of empowering women and doing preaching therapy which will be of greater good for people, what would you do if you become the chief minister? What are the areas you would focus on?
Okay. Education for sure. I would introduce English medium in all the schools, whether it's government schools, primary, junior, everything. I remember a trip my Gordojo's group and I had made to Uganda, and I found it amazing that every child there spoke English. And I know there are people who have their own opinions and say that you must have the vernacular schools and so on. Sure, you must learn your vernacular. Nothing.
I think yeah. Kalpana ji, I think we lost you for a while. So, friends, do follow Kalpana ji when she is our new friend. So, she is driving this dance movement therapy, which she's doing workshops right now. I mean, this is she is currently doing it for Women's Circle, but I highly recommend this for both genders because it's something good. So, do follow her, connect with her, and check if this can help you out. So, have a great Sunday. Enjoy.